getting accessibility.
It's been 34 years since a federal law requiring spaces to be accessible. Now Athens city officials warn the city is not following the law. Now at 6:30, what they say needs to be done to avoid a lawsuit.
Plus, Boeing employees continue their strike amidst new negotiations from the company.
And in sports, high school volleyball has heated up in the TVC with a full slate of matchups this week. Newswatch starts right now.
Welcome to Newswatch. I'm Ariel Teppert.
And I'm Lucy Schaefer. Dry weather continues here in Southeast Ohio.
Lead forecaster Emily Dietz joins us with the latest. Emily, when can we see rain in the forecast?
Well, we saw a little bit of rain today, mainly near Lawrence County, but that was not enough to get us out of these dry conditions. Now, even though our humidity is up a little bit, up near 77%, and we are seeing some cloudy skies, we're not really going to be seeing any of this rain anytime soon. We're anticipating a little bit of rain next week, but I'll talk about that more in my full forecast. In the meantime, conditions outside are quite nice. We do see that 73 degrees, and although up a bit north of us are in the mid 80s. They didn't really see a lot of cloud coverage today, so I saw a lot of that sunshine really warming them up. But down here in Southeast Ohio, things are pretty comfortable in that mid 70 degree range. Now overnight tonight, we can expect to see more cloud coverage in the area and even a few pop-up showers, but again, not enough rain to really help us out of this drought that we've been seeing. We really need a lot of prolonged rain showers to really help us out. So this will just kind of cool us off during the daytime, and at nighttime, it'll actually keep us a bit on the warmer side of things. We're looking at our overnight low of 62. Now be sure to stay tuned for my full forecast. We're going to dive into what we can see this week.
Thanks, Emily. Members from the Athens City Commission on Disabilities say the city needs to do more to address accessibility. Newswatch reporter Jack Green has more on what members say the city needs to do before it could face legal trouble.
Lucy, it's been 34 years since the passage of the Americans with Disability Act, and commission members say the city of Athens is still not in compliance with the law. At last night's city council meeting, co-chair David McNally says the lack of accessibility is an embarrassment for all those visiting Uptown Athens. McNally says the city needs to budget additional resources and create a plan to address the issues in the city.
I feel like I'm hitting my head on a brick, like with getting accessibility done. We need to fix these major issues now. We can't wait on the grants. We need to put the money aside to fix Uptown's curb cuts and crosswalks. The most major crosswalk intersection is Court and Union, and it's dangerous.
McNally did express support for what the city has done so far with grinding down sidewalks in Uptown, but he says that's just the first step. If the city were found not compliant with the ADA, they could face a lawsuit from the Department of Justice. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Jack Green, live in studio.
Thanks, Jack. A 39-year-old Hocking County woman is sentenced to 20 to 25 years in prison for sexually assaulting 2 children. Irene Marie Day pleaded guilty last month to 2 counts of rape and 2 counts of gross sexual imposition. Her co-defendant, 51-year-old Paul Sebring of Marietta, is facing similar charges for their alleged involvement. The Ohio Attorney General's office says Sebring is still awaiting trial. 2 Gloucester residents have been arrested today after fleeing from the police. Misty Worstell and Jeffrey Wright led the police on a chase before they crashed into a telephone pole and were taken into custody. Worstell was arrested for drug trafficking and Wright for a violation of bond on a past case. Worstell had several outstanding felony warrants for tampering with evidence, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and failure to appear in court. The Hocking County man who allegedly shot a Scotia County deputy has a date set for his hearing. Michael Bishop's hearing is set for Thursday, where he will enter his plea. Bishop is held with a $250,000 bond. He allegedly shot a deputy responding to a call of a juvenile being threatened with a firearm. Bishop is charged with attempted murder.
After days of chaos in Springfield, the state is stepping in to help keep the community safe. Governor Mike DeWine is sending the Ohio State Highway Patrol to assist the Springfield City School District. A contingent of 36 troopers will be stationed across 18 school buildings starting today. The move follows a series of fake bomb threats against the district.
Teachers also, though, told us that the kids had a tough day yesterday. I think they used the term as a rough day. And so that's not what we want to see. Our goal is to get back to normal.
The bomb threats come as Springfield sits at the center of U.S. politics after vice presidential candidate and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and former President Donald Trump repeat false rumors about the city's Haitian population. Nelsonville City Council won't have time to change its government as ordered by State Appeals Court. A judge ordered the city on Friday to put an initiative on the ballot that would require an elected mayor. However, the city appealed the decision and stalled the court's order. Absentee ballots for Nelsonville voters have already been printed. Now it's too late to put the initiative on the ballot. The court hasn't made a decision.
With 49 days until Election Day, people are making the final push to register to vote. Ohio will mail out its absentee ballots on October 8th. Applications for an absentee ballot are still being accepted in all states. You can register at your local Board of Elections office or the Ohio Secretary of State website. The voter registration deadline in Ohio is on October 7th. The Ohio Supreme Court is letting language stand, describing the proposal as required gerrymandering. The court also ordered 2 sections under dispute in Issue 1 to be rewritten. Issue 1 would replace the redistricting commission currently run by politicians to the one run by citizens. The proposal is intended to combat gerrymandering, though some say its language will do just that. Citizens, not politicians, the group behind Issue 1, disagreed with the court's ruling, but admitted parts of the language was, quote, inaccurate.
Vice President Kamala Harris participated in an interview today with members of the National Association of Black Journalists. Weeks ago, Donald Trump stirred controversy after his appearance with the same group in Chicago. Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook has the details.
Vice President Kamala Harris speaking to the National Association of Black Journalists.
It is very important that we ensure that this organization and your members always have the resources and the platforms to deliver the voices that must be heard.
The conversation marks one of few unscripted moments for Harris since she ascended to the top of the Democratic ticket. The moment also highlights the historic nature of her candidacy. She's the first Black woman and first Asian American to lead a major party ticket.
I'm working to earn the vote, not assuming I'm going to have it because I am Black, but because the policies and the perspectives I have understands what we must do to recognize the needs of all communities, and I intend to be a president for all people.
Just a few weeks ago, former President Donald Trump stirred controversy with his appearance in front of the same group by falsely suggesting Harris had only embraced a Black identity in recent years.
I didn't know she was Black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn Black, and now she wants to be known as Black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she Black?
Harris, who has embraced and discussed her Black identity for decades while also honoring her South Asian heritage, has repeatedly brushed off those comments.
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Coming up, Intel has reaffirmed their commitment to the New Albany construction project. And thousands are injured after a bombing in Lebanon.
Things are still very dry down here in Southeast Ohio, but will we be seeing some relief anytime soon? Be sure to stay tuned to Newswatch to find out if we'll be seeing some rain.
I'm arresting you on suspicion of assisting an offender.
What the hell were you thinking?
We suspected she was hiding evidence.
Sanson is working with a group of unnamed associates.
Am I under investigation?
You keep away from my family. So how do we know we can trust her?
Don't let me down. She's not picking up her phone. Something's not right.
Tash, we're in this together.
Looks like Tasha played us, Ridley.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
One of my officers is missing.
I'd like to make my presence felt.
What have you done?
Do you know what your problem is, Pete? Trust. I'm working on this case whether you like it or not.
It's not your fault.
You got a plan?
Let's wing it.
Bangkok on Masterpiece Mystery.
Sunday at 10 on WOUB.
Let's start at the beginning, shall we? I can't wait.
Back in the game, bringing the thunder, I'm making waves.
People will be watching your every move. I can handle it. Let's go.
So, what's your secret?
Things are starting to move in the right direction.
Tell us everything.
Are you ready for more? Just getting started, locked on the target. Are you ready for more?
No one is going to tell me who I can or can't be.
Troubles, honey?
Like you wouldn't believe.
Hop in.
Every day, I see the evidence of all that love can do.
Whatever happens, we'll be together.
There's nowhere else in the world I'd rather be. This was perfect.
Good evening from what turned out to be a cloudy day down here in Southeast Ohio. Earlier this afternoon, we had a couple spots of showers, but that was some very light rain, not enough to help us out, and we are in a drought right now. But our temperatures are really quite nice. We're about 73 right now, and again, that humidity has risen up a little bit from what we saw the past couple of days. Now earlier today, again, we saw it from a low pressure system moving in from the east coast over towards us, producing a lot of this cloud coverage and a lot of this little spotty rain showers that we saw throughout the day today. Now here's a good look at why that low pressure system didn't move fully into our area, giving us a lot more rain. We have a very well established high pressure system going over Ohio as well as to the northeast of us, and that's really creating this sort of big troughing kind of area that's pushing all this low pressure down, so only a little bit is sneaking through, but for the most part all of this will be pushing towards the east coast. Now taking a look at what's going on towards the west of us, we're seeing also some high pressure as well, and even though we see a little bit of green showing off some rain, that's just going to keep moving towards the north of us and towards the south. So we're going to be seeing a lot of this high pressure, which is going to give us a lot of warm conditions over the next couple of days. So even though today was kind of nice, we're in the low 80s, even into the 70s a little bit, we're still looking at these upper 80s, even into the 90s over the central Great Plains Midwest area, and this is going to be moving in from the west towards the east over the next couple of days. So things are going to be warming up quite nicely. Now overnight tonight, since we had a lot of that cloud coverage, we're going to be seeing an overnight low of 62, so definitely not as cold as it was the past couple of days. We were in those 50-degree ranges, but we will be seeing again that 20% chance of showers as this low pressure system continues to hit us with just the outer edge of that. But again, these rain showers are going to be very, very light. Now we can see the same thing for tomorrow with our high of 80, and again 20% chance of showers possible. Those are going to be in the early morning hours with our overnight low of 59. So things are going to be cooling down as those clouds start to move away from the area, allowing for a lot more of that daytime radiation to leave as you go overnight. And there we can see that tomorrow that high pressure is still hanging around, and things are looking pretty clear for us across the Midwest area, across the Great Plains area, and the same thing is going to be happening as we move into Thursday. So that high pressure again is still hanging around, still causing problems for us because we're not going to be seeing rain for quite some time, and again that warm air is really just going to move right into our area. So taking a look at the next couple of days, we're going to be seeing mostly sunny skies on Thursday, a high of 84, so things are going to be warming up as we move throughout the week. And looking as we move into Friday, mostly sunny skies yet again, another high of 87, so things are just going to be slowly warming up as this week goes on, with Saturday being our warmest day, mostly sunny skies, high of 89, low of 59, so again very few clouds in the sky. But as we move into the early on next week, that's when we're looking at that chance of rain. We're going to be seeing a low pressure system moving in Monday night into Tuesday, so hopefully we'll be seeing some rain showers next week.
Thanks, Emily. Intel reaffirmed its billion-dollar construction project in New Albany and struck a new partnership with Amazon. Intel didn't specify partnership details, but it comes from a long-standing relationship between the two companies. The chip company says it will manufacture hardware for Amazon. Both companies are putting millions of dollars into Ohio, and Amazon says it will spend over $7 billion to expand its data center operations in Licking County.
Boeing contract negotiations are resuming, according to a union representative. The source says a federal mediator is holding discussions today. It's the first time Boeing and union leaders will sit down since a massive strike began last Friday. About 33,000 Boeing employees are on strike, and the company's main aircraft production work is virtually shut down. Analysts say the walkout could cost the manufacturer more than $1 billion if it lasts for months. In a memo to employees, Boeing's CFO acknowledges the financial strain and announces cost-saving measures. They include a hiring freeze, travel reductions, consideration of furloughs, charitable donation cuts, and more. Many striking workers say they want benefits and better pay.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs appeared in a New York federal courtroom today, hours after his arrest in Manhattan last night, indicted on multiple federal counts that include sex trafficking. Many details are stunning and may be disturbing for some viewers to hear. Laura Aguirre brings us more on this explosive case.
The newly unsealed federal indictment charges Sean Diddy Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and interstate transportation for prostitution.
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
Graphic details in the indictment accuse Combs and his associates of allegedly forcing female victims to engage in sex acts with commercial sex workers.
Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them.
Combs is accused of using drugs to keep his victims compliant, among other tactics.
He was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
Earlier this year, law enforcement raided homes owned by Combs in Miami and LA, seizing a cache of weapons and digital recordings along with other evidence.
He's not guilty. He's innocent of these charges.
Combs' defense attorney firm in his client's innocence.
To his great credit, he voluntarily came to New York. Not a lot of defendants do that.
The rapper appeared in court Tuesday afternoon, joined by family members seen arriving earlier. If he's convicted, prosecutors say he faces up to life in prison.
He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might and the full confidence of his lawyers.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
At least 9 people have been killed and thousands are injured after an attack in Lebanon. After the Hezbollah leader ordered members to use pagers instead of cell phones to avoid Israeli intelligence tracking, pagers replaced cell phones. The pager supply was rigged with explosives from Israel before being delivered to Lebanon. Iranian state media says Iran's ambassador to Lebanon was one of those injured in the attack. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller says the U.S. was not aware and is gathering information.
I watched you and I was like, oh my God, he's having a hard time keeping his face straight.
Next in sports, I'm live from Athens High School, where a tightly contested TVC Ohio could have some clarity after tonight's matchups. Stay tuned for a full breakdown of both sides of the TVC coming up next.
People cannot ignore good literature.
For extraordinary storytelling, the National Medal of Arts to Julia Alvarez.
I wanted to write about Matias, about the lore that comes when women are talking as they're doing their housework, which I thought you couldn't write about.
American Masters and Voices are proud to bring you the story of acclaimed author Julia Alvarez, A Life Reimagined.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
You can't have the United States without the histories of all of the Latino communities.
Connection to culture is so important.
I move and feel in my traditions and my stories.
We do what we love with respect and loyalty.
We have changed U.S. history.
Sí, se puede.
Did you know that you can donate property to WOUB Public Media? I'm WOUB Community Engagement and Membership Manager, Sherry Russo. Donating property is a great way to support WOUB, and you may even claim a significant tax deduction. Properties in any location, condition, and format are eligible for donation to WOUB. Back taxes, mortgage balances, and deferred maintenance do not prohibit your ability to donate. Our program covers all loans, liens, commissions, and closing costs, so long as there is equity in the property. If you have a land, residential, or commercial real estate asset that's unused or costing you money, consider giving back to the station you love by donating it to WOUB. And the process is easy. Go to WOUB.org and click the Support tab to learn about property donations, along with many other ways to support WOUB.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm Josh Herner. Athens and Alexander are getting ready for a big clash in the TVC Ohio, but more than that, one of the conference's biggest rivalries. But these two teams aren't the only ones in action on tonight's slate. The first game on tonight's slate takes us to Waterford, where the Wildcats and the Nelsonville York Buckeyes should be underway for a cross-division TVC matchup. Nelsonville York is coming off of its first in-conference loss of the season last week against Athens, while Waterford is looking to get one step closer to getting back to a 500 record on the season. In this matchup last year, the Buckeyes swept the Wildcats in 3 sets. First serve is set for 6 p.m. tonight in Waterford. I'm sure everyone at home is no stranger to these two teams matching up against each other, the Athens Bulldogs and the Alexander Spartans. Athens currently sits atop of the TVC Ohio standings, while Alexander only trails the Bulldogs by a game and a half. Alexander took care of business against Athens last season, winning both matchups, but this season's matchup will be crucial for both teams. First serve is set for tonight at 7 p.m. in Athens. Although most of these squads still have plenty of in-conference games left, let's take a look at both division standings in the TVC. I briefly mentioned Athens-Nelsonville York matchup that happened last week, and that game is what separates the Bulldogs and the Buckeyes at the top of the standings. With the Spartans win tonight, Alexander, Athens, and Nelsonville York will all be tied for the top of the TVC Ohio top spot. Another crucial matchup will take place on Thursday, as the Spartans are set to take on the Buckeyes. Athens and Nelsonville York are set to dance again on October 8th, with the Bulldogs matching up with the Spartans just 2 days later. Vinton County, River Valley, Wellston, and Meigs round out the standings. On the flip side of the TVC, the Hawkins side is also pretty tightly contested at the top. Southern was able to take the conference last year, but Eastern currently has a full game lead on Southern for the top of the standings. These two teams will match up Thursday for the first time. Although Eastern and Southern sit at the top, don't count out Federal Hawking and Belpre, with both squads not too far behind in the standings. Waterford currently sits in 5th place, but features many returners from last season's playoff run. Trimble can easily climb up from last place with a few wins this week. The busy week of TVC volleyball does not stop just there, with Thursday's matchups being just as important as tonight's. Ace Nation's game of the week takes us to Gloucester, as the Tomcats will play host to the Federal Hawking Lancers. These teams will match up for the first time this season on Thursday, with Trimble sweeping this season series last year. First serve is set for 7 p.m. in Gloucester. The second highlight of Thursday's slate features a competition between the Spartans and the Buckeyes. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the implications of this matchup will be solved after tonight, with both these teams having a chance to take sole possession of the conference. First serve is set for 7:30 p.m. in Nelsonville. To stay up to date for all TVC volleyball content, make sure to follow WOUB's Ace Nation on X, Instagram, Facebook for all in-game and post-game content. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Josh Herner, live from Athens.
Still ahead, what parents should know about coping with stress.
This year, Gridiron is back and better than ever with our 25th season. I'm your host, Haley Hollinger.
And I'm your digital host, Donovan Varney. Throughout the week, make sure to tune into our Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube for game preview segments on the pregame huddle. If you still can't get enough high school football, check out our Instagram and TikTok for more weekly content.
And of course, we'll see you right here every Friday night at 11:30 p.m. because there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
It's in our blood.
It is living your culture to create.
The soul, that energy, it's me.
Revolutionary at 21, lawmaker at 23, most wanted at 26. Inside Hong Kong's umbrella revolution.
My mother always said that don't mess up with Chinese Communist Party. You cannot win over them. But I was just too stubborn to be stopped.
Who's Afraid of Nathan Law on POV.
Monday at 10 on WOUB.
Welcome to the Okavango Delta.
This is nature at its absolute finest.
This is crazy. This is a battle.
That is powerful. Like a king. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
It's been deemed a significant public health issue. The U.S. Surgeon General says parents are overwhelmed and burnt out with the, quote, dizzying pace of the world. Mandy Gaither has some ideas on how to cope with parental stress.
Being a parent isn't always easy.
No! Finally, this is a topic that's receiving the attention that it deserves and is long overdue.
Psychologist Adam Borland with Cleveland Clinic says parents today are navigating stressors that they didn't grow up with, including things like social media, 24-hour news cycles, internet safety, school safety, the COVID-19 pandemic. It can all feel a little overwhelming.
I think it comes down to a sense of acceptance, the fact that I am feeling this way. It's not a weakness. It's the reality of the situation that I find myself in.
Borland says parents can cope by prioritizing teamwork. That includes asking and receiving help from a spouse, family member, or the community. And focusing on gratitude can help remind you of the good things in life and your wins as a parent.
It's very easy to negatively compare yourself to others without recognizing, I'm doing a really good job here.
Borland says to also find a healthy balance between things at home and other stressors that exist outside of it. Part of that also includes making time for yourself. He says self-care is not selfish.
It's the idea of carving out that time and recognizing that I'm going to be a better parent, I'm going to be a better partner, I'm going to be a better family member by attending to my self-care.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Toledo twins celebrate a big milestone, turning 102 together. The Johnson twins, Marilyn Wright and Madeline Casper, were born in 1922 and raised in West End, Toledo. Even though they live in different cities, the twins do everything together, from work to daily phone calls. Despite their age, the two manage to stay in good mental and physical health. They joke that cocktails before dinner are the key to a long life.
I think that happens every day. We just thought we have to really celebrate this one big time.
Their family traveled from across the country to see them celebrate. The identical twins share that they want everyone to be kind to others as their big birthday message.
I just hope that I can stay that close to my sister. I mean, that's so sweet.
It is. I do not have any siblings, but my best friend, absolutely. She's like my sister.
For sure, I have two sisters, and we already do shenanigans stuff enough together, but I really hope we can stay together that long. But taking a look at what's going on tonight, we are expecting some very nice conditions outside. We have an overnight low of about 62, but taking a look at what's going on these next couple of days. Thursday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies, high of 84, low of 57. So things are going to be warming up this week as we're going to be seeing a lot more high pressure moving into the area and really keeping us in this drought. Unfortunately, the couple of rain showers that we had earlier today were not enough to pull us out from the dryness that we're seeing, and it's going to get a little bit worse this week, especially as things really start to heat up. And we're seeing a lot of that warm weather, especially in the Great Plains area now, and we're going to be seeing that move in as we go Friday, especially into Saturday, with that high of 89. Now on Sunday, we're going to be seeing that high of 86, so things are going to be going a little bit cooler, especially as we go Monday into Tuesday, as we're looking at a low pressure system start to move into the area, and that might be bringing us some rain.
That does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching.
Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. Have a great night.